I think this is what I need to start mending my heart from these heartbreaks and the miscarriage. Without a blink, he said, absolutely, let's do this, let's make this happen. And after that dinner, we went to a play, and it was a beautiful musical, but I cried the entire time. And I think it was this emotional release that I needed to tell myself it was okay. I had goals of 3 babies. I didn't get those goals, but that's okay.
You are listening to Feminine Will, powered by Sweatseat. I'm Andrea McKee. This is a show about women who choose athleticism, adventure, and bravery every day. Thanks for listening. Today on the show, we have Kim Gordon, who went from engineer and management consultant to yoga teacher. 20 years ago, she was in a car accident that left her breathing out of a trachea tube and broken femur and lots of other broken bones. It was catastrophic, and for several years, she was trying to recover. Since then, she has overcome many challenges, including infertility and miscarriages. And she's here to tell us a story of how she's 43 and feeling better than she's ever felt in her life. Thank you for listening to her incredible story. Give us a little bit of background on you, just of your life.
Well, first, it's so wonderful to meet you. And so I actually grew up here in Alpharetta, and what's now Johns Creek. I moved a bunch as a kid, but most of my years are in Alpharetta. And I have 2 younger sisters.
Oh, fun.
And I went to college at Duke. I've got undergrad in mechanical engineering and then an MBA. And I worked in management consulting for 15 years. So I started out a little IT and then went more into the business side.
Okay.
The engineering background means I think mechanically it's good at problem solving.
Absolutely. That's amazing.
Segue into engineering and obviously later on into yoga too. So yeah, I danced through high school. I did dance team in high school. But then in college, I did like aerobics classes, and I wasn't as active younger. I would argue, I'm 43. I would argue that I have been the best shape of my life for the past 5 or 6 years.
That's incredible.
That's doing yoga.
And I think the listeners are going to be even more amazed once they hear your story and how you've gotten to this point. So, so you went to school, you got your MBA, and then I know some things have happened after that. I know you said you lived in Nashville for a little bit. You've come back to Alpharetta, and now you, is that the only other place you guys lived? Was Nashville?
Us together. So yeah, we lived in Atlanta, Nashville, 9 years, and then we just came back to Alpharetta, cool. Which is crazy the way the world works. But yeah, life has been busy. I was all into my job, my work career, and I've always done aerobics classes or exercises on the side. And so I first tried yoga when I was 27.
Okay.
And I loved it, but I'm working full time.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were also working on having children, and which did not come easily for us.
Yeah.
And so we had a lot of infertility issues and did a lot of in vitro fertilization. So through the years of trying for babies, we have 2 children. We're very lucky with that. Some miscarriages in between. I kind of ebbed and flowed with my yoga practice.
So tell us, what was it that you loved so much about yoga when you first started? You said that you loved it. I've taken some yoga classes, and I've always wanted to get into yoga, but for some reason it hasn't clicked with me, and I don't know why.
So there's so many types of yoga. There's so many
that's what I've been learning.
Styles. There's so many intensities, and there's so many teachers. And so much of it, I think, is finding the style that talks to you and the teachers that speak to you. So the style of yoga that I like to practice is power vinyasa in a hot studio. So there are many myths about yoga, and yoga is slow and easy. Very much can be a myth. There are styles that meet that. The style that I like to take is hard as all freaking get out, challenging, inspiring, hot, drenched in sweat. To me, it's empowering. It's I consider myself like a endorphin junkie, because that's what gets the endorphins going. I love yoga because it makes me feel good. It makes me a nicer, happier person.
Yeah. And is that the first one that you took?
So the first style of yoga I tried was a style called Bikram.
Okay.
It's in a very heated studio, 105 degrees, and it's the same sequence as 26 postures. There's 2 versions, a 60-minute class and a 90-minute class. The 90-minute class does each of the 26 postures twice. The 60-minute class does some of them just once. It's a great practice for a type A personality. Men tend to love Bikram hot yoga because you know what to expect. So you can come back each class knowing the sequence, and you can work to perfect your poses.
Okay. And are these poses ones you have to be very flexible?
Every pose has modifications.
Okay. Okay. So it's
Yoga is available to people of all body types, all shapes and sizes, all ages, all capabilities, because every pose has modifications. If you have the right teacher, that shows you those modifications. To me, Bikram is kind of boring.
and is it because you like to change things up?
I love variety.
Okay.
I love the unknown. I love impromptu. I love creativity and growth and challenge. I love arm balances. And
so you like to balance on your arms. Which I guess is obvious in your Instagram post that I'm always amazed by when I see.
So I started posting on Instagram almost a year ago to the day. So I started in January 2019.
Wow.
And my husband pushed me strong for about a year to get on Instagram.
Okay, good job.
My husband's actually here supporting.
Yes.
Over the years on vacation, we started taking some yoga pictures and of me practicing like on the beach, and it was so fun. And my husband's a huge entrepreneur, and he's like, I think you can make some money on Instagram. You should start posting and getting sponsors.
That's awesome.
Which is way harder.
Yes.
Way harder than it really is. And so I got on Instagram 13, 14 months ago, and it opened the doors to so many opportunities and so much exposure.
Like what?
So for my yoga journey, I really got more seriously into yoga after our second child was 7 months. I went back to work, and my husband, and as a management consultant, which is a very intense job. Like I was working part-time, and so in part-time consulting, you work 80%. Doesn't mean you work 4 days a week. It means you work 80% of the full workload.
Okay.
So life was still crazy.
Yeah.
But the kids were 100% my responsibility. Our 2 children. We now have a daughter who turned 11 today and a son who's 7. My husband travels a lot for work as well.
Okay.
So when our youngest turns, I went back to work after he was born for 4 months, and a couple months in, it just got to be too much. So I ended up resigning. And even though I had an infant, all of a sudden, I had more time during the day to practice. And it was amazing. I remember back at this time where I met a woman who practiced 5 times a week, and I'm like, I'm practicing 3 times a week. I would hurt myself if I practiced 5 times a week. Wow, that's just so impressive, so inspiring. You kind of work yourself into it, ease into it. Like now I practice every day of the week. I lift weights.
Wow.
I often double dip. I'm practicing multiple hours a day. It's not something you jump right into, but it's something you ease into. So I started, I found a studio that I loved. This is all in Nashville.
Okay.
And that studio had a variety of teachers that I loved. I was challenging myself by what the teachers brought to the table, which was great. And so I had practiced years prior in Atlanta off and on, and I had never done headstand until I had a teacher who talked us through headstand and then talked us through 7 different versions of headstand.
Wow.
But I never challenged myself until that teacher brought it to the table. And here I'm at this studio. I've had a variety of teachers that I love, but over time the teachers change. They switch out. Life happens.
Yeah.
And with each favorite teacher that left, my heart broke because I had to try something new, find something new. Eventually, that studio, my heart and soul, had rent issues, and the studio itself was closing.
Oh, how sad.
It was like the end of my world.
Yeah.
But in a way, it was like the best thing that ever happened to me.
It's true that when one door closes, another door opens. And usually it's somehow a better door for us, maybe because the challenge of it.
Change is good.
It is.
All these yoga life lessons that you can learn on the mat that can take off, change is good. So when my favorite studio closed, my all-time favorite teacher from that studio, I followed her to her next place. But then it dawned on me, each time I tried a new teacher before, my practice grew. So instead of looking for a new studio, why don't I look for the best teachers in town at a variety of studios?
Oh.
So that's what I did. And here I am practicing at 6 different studios across Nashville. And that is when my practice truly took off.
Okay.
That's when it grew.
So there are two things I want to touch on again. Not right now, but in a second, about what it's like to practice and how much goes into it every day. Like, what does it look and feel like? I want to really illustrate that to our listeners. And I also want to know a little bit more as to why and you've kind of touched on it, but why you feel like it really helped your practice take off. But first I want to rewind a little and kind of get into some of the hard things that you've experienced. So this is before you really started practicing yoga regularly. And in 2000, you had a tragic car accident. Tell us about that.
So I was in a catastrophic car accident in January of 2000 here on Georgia 400 in Atlanta. Atlanta's a fabulous place to get into a catastrophic car accident.
Oh my goodness. Every day I'm thankful for my life because
wonderful medical care, wonderful trauma one here in Atlanta. But I shattered my femur 2 inches. I have a metal rod in my femur. Broke my pelvis in 3 spots. Broke 3 ribs. Broke my left humerus. I have a metal plate in my arm. Broke my collarbone. Fractured my spine. Nothing in my body is symmetrical, which is interesting when you watch my practice. It doesn't matter. My legs are different lengths. My one shoulder's higher than the other. My arms are different lengths.
Wow.
When there is a drive, when there's a motivation, where there's a will, you overcome, you compensate. It doesn't matter.
It's true.
Everything that saved my life at the hospitals here in Atlanta led to trauma to my trachea. And 2 years, a year and a half or so following my car accident, had some poor treatment where a doctor put metal stents in my trachea, where I ended up getting MRSA, staph-resistant infection in my trachea.
Okay.
And I was able to find doctors that were able to take the metal stents out, identified the infection, treated the infection, but my trachea was severely compromised. And so that all the metal tubing was taken out in December 2001, so almost 2 years following the car accident. And I was given a plastic stent to hold my trachea open to give my trachea a rest, time to recuperate from the infection. And then, because a hole developed to my trachea and my esophagus when they took out the metal strands. And I went back, this was all done up in Massachusetts at Mass General. And I ended up going back in April of 2002, where they did a tracheal resection, which is where they cut out the bad parts of your trachea. Your trachea has rings of cartilage held together with membrane, so no nerves, so no pain in there. So you could cut out the bad parts, pull the good pieces together, stitch it all up, and my chin stitched to my chest for a week. So I wouldn't lift my chin and tear the suture marks. And but over time, once the suture heals, the trachea will gradually stretch out. So having a long neck and being young was very prime opportunity for this procedure.
Yes.
So I had this tracheal resection. My trachea from the infection just wasn't ready to heal yet. And it collapsed again. And the doctor basically said, we need to wait longer, and he put in a trach tube. So I became a neck breather. I was breathing out of a hole in my neck with this tracheostomy tube. And by my surgery was in April. By May, I lost the ability to talk.
The what?
The ability to talk.
Oh, wow.
Because my trachea entirely closed off above the trach tube. So I have a whole litany of scars here. Here's my stoma, the trach scar here. Trachea closed right above it. And so no air was getting to my vocal cords.
Oh, wow.
There is a device called electrolarynx. So if you ever watch South Park, there's a character on South Park who used this. That was me. It's a device that vibrates. You hold it up to your neck and you talk. No sound goes through no sounds come out of your mouth, but the vibrations echoes through the structure of your body, and it makes a sound that sounds like your voice.
Wow, is that what you used?
So that's what I used. So at this time, my current husband was my boyfriend and stuck through all of this, which is amazing.
Incredible.
We, overlapping with this, also were applying to business school. So we had gotten into business schools at this point in time.
You both did? Okay.
Our goal was to go together.
Oh, cool.
And in May, I lost the ability to talk. In August, I quit my job in management consulting, and I went to business school. I went to a program where majority of your grade is presentations and class participation, talking.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
And so here I am, my electrolarynx, but I'm a
That's incredible.
focus-driven person.
Yes, and it wasn't going to stop you.
And it didn't. I had a case manager who got all this kind of electronic equipment. She was on my team. She was supporting me. I didn't need it. I didn't need any amplifiers. My voice was not loud, but I think you get to the point where you can carry your presence and people pause and they listen. So that first year of business school, my husband and I got engaged.
Oh, wow.
The second year of business school, we got married.
That's a lot going on.
I didn't feel disabled,
Mm-hmm.
but getting an internship that summer, the way I got into business school was not exemplary of how I got a job. Because getting into business school, it was all my academics, my credentials, my records. Like, I got into business schools, multiple, no problem. But in interviewing, here I am with this electrolarynx with my electronic voice. And it was a big experience to see people with disabilities, what that experience would be like in getting a job.
And what was it like?
I had a really hard time getting an internship. I ended up working for free for my internship, getting a great experience, but had no money.
If it makes you feel better, in education, I got a master's degree of educational leadership, and I did all my internships. In education, you're getting paid for anything, and I know in business it's different, but in education, I didn't get paid for anything for the entire year that I did internships at every single thing as an administrator. So it's not fair, and it's because we're women, and that the majority of education is women, and so in general they get taken advantage of in terms of pay and so forth.
Well, teachers are educating our youth, our next generation. I mean, we need to pay the teachers.
Yeah, and it sounds like you had a similar experience where it was, you had, well, not similar. It's very different, but it's where you're not as valued, not based on your knowledge. Like, they weren't taking into account your knowledge, your experience, all the things that you had to offer. Instead, they were looking at it. You said you felt like they were looking at your disability and that, and not giving you an equal opportunity.
It was interesting. So still, I wanted to work. I got the internship.
Good job, yeah.
Second year of business school, my husband and I got married.
Yeah, congrats.
And then I wanted to take a break from consulting. I wanted to work at a startup.
Oh, yes.
So I did get a job. There was a speaker series at the business school that we went to, and I went to every speaker series, and after one, there was a very inspiring woman that spoke. I went up and touched base with her and networked with her for opportunities. But did get a job at a software startup company, which was a great experience to expand my opportunities.
Yes.
Leaders there had consulting backgrounds, so we spoke the same language. We understood each other.
That's cool.
My doctor that did the tracheal resection originally told me I wanted to wait. He wanted to wait a year to give my trachea a chance to recuperate. And I was so nervous because it's kind of like, I feel like you get like one other shot. So I ultimately waited 3 years before I felt comfortable enough to go back, because that first, we waited 7 weeks from removal of the metal stent to do the tracheal resection. We waited 7 weeks to give the trachea a break, and I felt, okay, we didn't wait long enough then, let's just wait longer now.
Okay.
So in July 2005, we went back for a second resection, which was more of a reconstruction, and it basically worked.
Nice.
I had supportive devices in my trachea through 2010 when I ultimately had part of my ear cartilage cut out and grafted into my trachea, and that ear cartilage provided the support of the plastic stents at that time that were holding my trachea open. And
that's incredible.
But I've been supportive device in my trachea free since 2010.
Wow. So trachea free meaning you are able to speak and breathe through your throat. Your
and
esophagus.
Exercise. When I had my trach tube, I couldn't walk up 3 flights of stairs because my trachea is very narrow, and so I had a pediatric trach tube in, just so the trachea tube didn't bump against my trachea wall and cause further damage.
Okay.
So I couldn't get a full breath of air. So through all this time, I'm working full time, taking out time for surgeries. Until I had the ear cartilage grafted into my trachea, I had surgeries once a year to switch my plastic stent, my plastic tubing out. But life goes on. I was so driven and focused to live the life I wanted to live that I kept pushing forward.
I love that.
So overlapping with this, my husband and I got married. And so the second big thing that we worked through as a couple is we wanted children. We wanted a family. We love to travel and we love to exercise and to work out and to experience life. But we also wanted to build a family. And we weren't preventing this. But then we weren't getting pregnant.
Yeah.
And then we were trying, and then we weren't getting pregnant. So very quickly, I was like, I'm in my early 30s. 35 is geriatric in the pregnancy world, which is crazy.
I know.
It's like, we need to start pushing for this. And so we ended up going to fertility clinic and were diagnosed with unexplained infertility, which is the most frustrating thing as
sure.
Consultant, a project manager, somebody who's used to managing life experiences, because it's something entirely out of your control. And we ended up doing one round of IUI, and then it didn't work, so we jumped right into in vitro fertilization. For people not in the know, this is where you inject yourself with hormones to stimulate the ovaries to create more follicles, and the follicles on the ovary could produce an egg. Every woman is born with a full supply of eggs that they'll have, so no additional eggs are created during your lifetime. But in IVF, they actually capture the eggs, so you get eggs. They take the sperm, create embryos, so you have embryos. And those embryos are then graded, so you know the viability of the embryos. And then based on your situation, the doctor implants embryos back into your body. From our first round of IVF, we have our daughter.
Wow.
It worked.
That's amazing.
It was absolutely amazing.
That is amazing.
I have 2 younger sisters. I wanted 3 children. I think we often want what we had.
Yeah.
So we plowed on. Next round was a miscarriage. I think actually the next round didn't work. Next round I had a miscarriage at 11 weeks, which was very heartbreaking.
That is so difficult.
Tried again. We had our son. Our second child.
Yay.
And he was born when I was 36, so I wasn't getting any younger.
Okay.
And then I nursed him for 13 months and then stopped just so time was ticking so we could go back in to try for baby number 3. We did 2 rounds of IVF. Both were non-successful. And from our daughter, we had 2 frozen embryos. 2 extra embryos that we did not use with our daughter that we froze. And when we moved, our daughter's born in Atlanta. When we moved from Atlanta to Nashville in 2011, we had our frozen embryos FedExed to Nashville. Because that is what you do with bodily materials. Like, these are my holy grail. These were my precious cargo. I was going to
FedEx
drive them across. And they're like, no, you want them FedExed. So we had them FedExed.
Okay.
So round 3 after my son, we tried our frozen. And I became pregnant.
Wow.
For 7 weeks.
Aww.
And then I miscarried. And it was the most heartbreaking thing. Heartbreaking thing ever, because to go through IVF, every cell in your body needs to be all in. It is, I joke, it's like something you wouldn't wish on your worst enemies. It's the most horrible thing in so many ways. But at that point in time, I turned to my doctor and said, I have injected myself with hormones for 9 different rounds of assistance. At what point am I doing harm to my body? At what point am I going to get cancer? At what point am I not going to be around for my children? And he didn't have a great answer because there's simply not enough data yet. I knew in my head I needed to stop. It took my heart a long time to catch up with that.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, having a child and having that miracle, that first one, and then having a miscarriage. Oh, just the bravery to try again, I think, is just huge. And so you did, and then you got your son, and that's amazing. And then you had another miscarriage, and I can't imagine the pain that you experienced through all of that. I mean, one miscarriage is so hard to go through, but 2 or more, I mean, it's I can see why you were kind of at a point where you're like, okay, I need to figure out if this is, because it's probably, I mean, if it were me, I would probably be thinking, wow, like, can my heart, take another loss? And you were, in tune, trying to be in tune with your body, and also trying to figure out if it was really the best thing for you to continue with that.
I like to research. I like to be informed.
Mm-hmm.
I love to grow and have thirst of knowledge. So my brain knew that it was not right to keep going.
There's a point.
There was a point that enough was enough. My husband and I went out for dinner a couple weeks after, and like I'm an emotional person. I cry easily, and I come in tears.
I do too. I was holding back a little there.
And I mentioned to him, I'm interested in yoga teacher training. I need a new direction. I need a new thing to put my heart in, to work for and to work towards. And yoga training, it's the ones I was looking at were 5 weekends across a 7-week period where you're there. You come home and sleep for like maybe 6 hours, but you're basically there Friday night through Sunday. We had 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
My husband's wonderful, but he doesn't watch our kids. And for me to do the yoga teacher training, he had to be responsible for 5 weekends for our kids, like 100%, which is a new thing for him at that point in time. And so I said, I think this is what I need to start mending my heart from these heartbreaks and the miscarriage. Without a blink, he said, absolutely, let's do this. Let's make this happen. And after that dinner, we went to a play, and it was a beautiful musical, but I cried the entire time. And I think it was this emotional release that I needed to tell myself it was okay. I had goals of 3 babies. I didn't get those goals, but that's okay. To step back and to redirect and to find a new passion. Yeah. So I went to this yoga teacher training, and I went into it initially to to deepen my practice. Like, I didn't know if I wanted to teach.
And why yoga? What do you think it was about yoga that connected you in that moment?
You don't want me playing any sport with a ball, like hand-eye coordination with the ball. That is not my jam, not what I'm good at. I am good at moving my body. So I danced in high school. I am great at water skiing, great at snow skiing. Yoga, it just speaks to me. So yoga,
I guess I can understand that, like with a strong background in dance, and you probably already had flexibility to begin with, and so you probably felt like you were kind of good at it.
It was, for my body type, it is. Yeah. It is natural. Like, again, you don't want me playing basketball, but yoga is what works in my body, and so getting into the yoga practice, what makes yoga different than aerobics or Pilates or different things is that it focuses on the breath. Yoga starts with the breath. And when you're inhaling and when you're exhaling, you're pausing. And in those pauses, things start to turn inward. So that's when your mind starts to connect with the movements in your body. And then the more you practice, the more this deepens. That's when your emotions, the spirit, starts to connect in with the mind, starts to connect in with the movements. So we carry emotions in different parts of our body. Most of us carry stress in our shoulders. Your shoulders are tight, massages are amazing. We carry emotions in our hips. So you take a yoga class that's very hip focused, and maybe in Savasana, these thoughts of your childhood bubble up, or like maybe you just have some tears and you don't understand why. It's because you're releasing your emotions.
That is so interesting, because when I feel like a lot of tension in my shoulders or my back, I'll just like have this need to just do a handstand against the wall, and then I'll just stand there and be like, oh, if this feels so good.
Inversions are phenomenal. So you can get into shoulder stand. 20 minutes in shoulder stand in theory is like 8 hours of sleep. That reverse blood flow, it relaxes, it calms, it centers your body.
Interesting.
So there is so much more to yoga than the physical practice. And what we practice here in the United States is very much more westernized yoga. It is focusing on the physical, the movement. So yoga, when it started a couple thousand years ago back in India, the goal of yoga was meditation. The goal of yoga was not physical movement.
And by meditation, do you mean just focusing on what you're doing in that moment? Because I feel like there's a lot of different ways that people describe meditation. And so what do you think, or from what you've learned, when you say meditation, what do you refer to?
So meditation, to make it actually approachable, can be any and all of the above.
Okay.
There are so many different versions of meditation. And in all honesty, yoga is what works for you and your body. There are versions, like I'm in this yoga practice for life. And what amazes me about it is that there are modifications for every pose. There are different versions and styles. Right now, yeah, I could rock the handstands. I can hit the arm balances. Like, it's fabulous.
Oh, and you're good at them too. You guys really need to check out her Instagram. Like, she's doing one arm stands and all kinds of arm balances. I find it very, very fascinating. I think we're going to do a little bit at the end of this video too.
We can definitely do some yoga at the end.
A video, yeah. And for those listening, you'll have to check it out on YouTube.
But yoga is a practice you can do for the rest of your life. It just means you modify. It means maybe you're not going in as hot of a room or not going as challenging on postures. But if you're doing yoga for your life, you can actually carry those wonderful poses into later years. But like even if you're having a day where you feel like you need to move more slowly, there's different styles of yoga to practice that do move more slowly. So it's so adjustable, so adaptable. But going back to meditation, there's this idea of the 8 limbs of Ashtanga, which talk about different steps taking you deeper into meditation. Coming to the 8th limb, yogis could, in theory, levitate their bodies. It is just this power, this connecting of the mind, body, and spirit through breath that turns to your body inward to this state of inner happiness and peace was the true goal. But not that has to be a goal for any and everyone that does yoga. There are so many places to hang out along the way that are so empowering and awesome. So it's really about finding what works for you and your body. But these yogis, a couple thousand years ago, that were working to meditate, they realized their bodies were deteriorating. They needed to start finding movement, creating movement, so that their bodies remained healthy and strong, so that they could meditate longer. And that's where the asanas, the postures, the movements of yoga came about. And there's a variety of practitioners, and again, here in the States, we're practicing more westernized, which is more of a focus on movement. But any class you take is still going to focus on breath, focusing on the inhales.
That's true.
And the exhales.
The ones that I have been to focus on breath, and I do appreciate that. I feel like it helps me focus a little bit more, and it helps me be more aware of what's happening in my body, and instead of getting lost in my mind.
And that's another magic of yoga, body awareness. As we get older, body awareness is huge to help prevent trips and falls. But it's also a part of self-love and self-appreciation. Understanding how your body works. Oh, gosh. Understanding how your body works. Understanding that maybe not every yoga pose is for your body. And that's perfectly okay. We all come to the table with predispositions of strength or flexibility or open hips or joints, and that's amazing. We each have our own superpowers, and what yoga allows is for you to explore those and to challenge yourself and push yourself in other areas, and to say, maybe today even this pose is not for me. I'm going to take a break, or I'm going to do a modification. All of the options and the empowerment that yoga provides, I think, is amazing.
Just helping you stay in touch with what your body needs, what your mind needs,
helping yourself
how to release
listen.
the emotions. I really am fascinated by the idea that you could take a yoga class that focuses on hips and then have emotions released from stress or whatever that you've experienced in the different places that you hold your body. So are these things that you've learned in yoga about, like in your yoga practicing. Okay, is it time for us to? I think it's time for us to dig into like what your practice looks like and how you have learned the things that you have about yoga, such as the hip releasing of emotions and the shoulder releasing of emotions, and then how that kind of has built up to what you're doing with practicing now. I don't know if those are they connected enough that we can.
Well, yoga is different. I listened to some of your prior podcasts, which have been wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
And they've been different athletes that have had coaches or a training plan. And that's not really the way yoga works.
Oh, okay.
You have teachers, but in a way you own your own experience because you choose what classes you go to. You choose what teachers you take from. You choose if you want to stick with one style, one teacher, if you want to branch out. For me, I'm all about growth and learning, and I just want to build up so taking yoga, number one, starts with learning a new language.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Take us back to the beginning of how you kind of started in yoga and then came to where you are now, because how many years later is it now?
So I first tried yoga at 27 and I'm 43.
Okay.
And but I really have gotten more seriously into yoga since my son was born, so really the past 6 years or so.
Okay, so take us on that journey.
So I started in Bikram, and that again is a style where it's the same series of postures each class. And then I kind of like jumped in, jumped out. During my first pregnancy, I didn't practice at all. But after I started trying vinyasa, which is a style that the teacher makes up a unique class each time. And it can be in a heated studio or not heated studio.
And you knew that there were different types of yoga and that you should try different studios just because you knew that?
Not then.
Okay, because when I took yoga, I think I would try a class or two and be like, this just is not working for me, and I just quit. Because I'm like, well, maybe yoga isn't for me right now. So I'd go back to running because running is like my go-to. And but I still have this desire to try yoga, and I want to be more flexible too. So continue.
So if I ever meet somebody like you, my advice is try lots of teachers, try lots of styles, try lots of studios.
Okay.
You have to find somebody that talks to you.
Okay.
You have to find someone that you feel it inside, like we speak like I understand where you're coming from. Yoga is, for me, it's a passion. It's not an exercise. So I'm huge into weight training, and I'm well, let me circle back. So I went from this Hot 26 Bikram, so you might hear it called Hot 26. The legal world of yoga is interesting. The gentleman who created the style of Bikram had some issues, a little Me Too movement inside of his practice. Okay. People started taking, which was one thing, people started taking his practice and teaching his 26 sequence of steps, and he sued, and it went to the Supreme Court. You cannot copyright, you cannot patent, you cannot control a yoga flow. That is open. It's open to the public. Wow. So you might hear Hot 26. It is Bikram. It is somebody that has taken the Bikram style and adjusted or changed it. But it is still those 26 postures. So I started exploring vinyasa, and it was really more finding studios that were convenient, and then finding teachers that I really liked, that were fun, that were cool, that had a fun vibe and energy. And in these vinyasa classes, teachers oftentimes will work towards a premier pose, which means the entire class is crafted towards opening up your body, building the flexibility, opening up the joints to hit this really challenging pose at the end. And it doesn't mean you have to get it. The hope is you try it. Yoga is a fabulous place to work on so many life lessons. Yoga is a place where you know you need to fall a bunch of times to get a pose, and nobody cares because everyone is so busy working on their own mat, focusing on what's going on in their own space. Nobody's looking at you. They're worried about themselves. So yoga is this amazing place to fall and try and get up. It's all about getting up and trying again.
You know, I love that because that takes me back to a time when I was in Scotland. I lived there for a year and a half, and I did yoga with a friend of mine in the mornings, And she actually, like, we got this book from the library, and there was this, I don't know, I don't remember what it's called, but you put your knees on the tops of your elbows.
Crow pose.
Crow. Okay, I was going to say that, but I didn't know
We'll
if
do
I was
that
going to be
one.
right. Okay. And I can still do that to this day. And I'm so proud of myself for it. But I remember falling down a lot and like putting a pillow under my nose so that I wouldn't actually, like if I fell, that I wouldn't break my nose on the ground.
Props are fabulous. And the whole world is, you can do yoga on anything. The whole world is a prop. But it's all about, yoga is all about trying. And if you don't try, you never know if you can do it or not.
I'm really glad that you brought that up, because this time in this interview, I really wanted to ask, like, where have you failed that you felt like it was good for you to fail and move forward? And I feel like this is a perfect example. It's like all the time.
Oh, in yoga all the time. Like, there are poses that you could try for the first time that based on your body type, maybe it works very well and you get into it easily. So I've been working on my handstand. I have a dancer background. It's so fun watching a yoga class practice, and you can pick out, bodies have muscle memory. You could pick out, oh, that person had a dance background. That person had a gymnastics background. That person maybe is a runner or a weight trainer, and you could see which muscles are not as flexible that they're working on. So your body holds so much knowledge and memory. I did not have a handstand background, so handstands have been a big challenge for me. And in my search for different teachers, I've hit new plateaus in handstand. And you'll hear the wisdom of, you have to do a handstand kick up 1,000 times, 2,000 times to hold a handstand. You have to practice on things that don't come naturally. You have to try again and again.
It's a life lesson.
For it to work.
Yeah.
And if you're trying the same thing again and again and you're not seeing change, you need to try something new.
Or have somebody help you.
You need to find a new teacher. You need to find a new technique. You need to reach out and ask for help. And none of that is shameful. That is empowering. That is you taking control of your practice. That is you building. To me, your yoga practice is your sanctuary that you carry with you wherever you go. No matter where you lay your mat out, whether it's your mat or somebody else's mat, it is your practice that you have cultivated, created, and grown inside of you. And like, there's nothing more special than that. You own it. Nobody can take it away from you.
That is so beautiful.
And that is another, like, I could keep going on and on about yoga. But, handstands.
I'm like getting emotional just the way you said that. It's just so beautiful. It makes me really want to try yoga. I think that's one thing about this show is I feel like listening to the passion of the people who are experiencing the things that connect with them in their bodies and their minds and their soul. It is a soul deep thing to get into a regular practice of something, and it changes you. So you went from the Hot 26 to Vinyasa, and then from there, and this is all in the last like 6-ish years.
This is back in my 20s.
Oh, okay.
And so I guess I was 34 when we moved from Atlanta to Nashville, and I found some yoga studios. Oh, so one of my favorite stories. Here I'm management consulting with a newborn infant, my first child, and my husband quit his job, started his own business, and was on the road for 2 years. So
wow, I'm
working full time as a management consultant with an infant, and my husband's on the road, and he comes home on the weekend and he goes and works out. 9 months in, I'm like, this is bullshit. Like, I want to work out too. Like, and he looks at me and goes, "You're smart, figure it out." And I was like, okay. So then I started getting babysitters. So 2 weeknights a week, I'm paying for the most expensive yoga class ever. That became my saver. It was my space, my sanity, my fitness, my way to start building and working on me.
I think that is something a lot of women need to hear, because including myself, because with little kids, little ones especially, it is a lot of work to try to figure out how to go and make time for yourself, like a workout class. I mean, it's one thing if you take them during the day to the YMCA and they have,
2 hours.
2 hours, exactly. But recently my kids stopped liking that. And it's just because of the stage they're at. And it was really hard to manage. I'm still trying to figure out, okay, how do I go from here? Because right now I'm training for a half marathon. And I'm like, where do I go from here? And I'm realizing that I have the freedom. I just need to give it to myself.
You need to prioritize.
I need to prioritize.
It is so important to prioritize yourself first. You cannot fill somebody else's cup until you fill your own.
So true.
Think of you're on a plane, put your mask on first before you put your mask on your kid. If you do not fill, it is not being selfish.
No.
It is, you cannot give love out unless you love yourself first, unless you take care of yourself first. It's huge.
It's true.
Yeah, that's huge.
So I love that you did that he was like, figure it out. And you were like, okay. So you did.
So that's really when I started practicing vinyasa, actually, and found amazing teachers. At that point in time, I found a teacher who focused on building toward these premier poses. And these premier poses are these, whether it's an arm balance or a standing balance. And I'm like, this stuff is kind of cool. And it works. My body works with this stuff. And I feel, if you know Enneagrams, I'm a 3, I'm an achiever. And it's these goals that I'm setting of meeting these poses, and I'm achieving it. Like it's all these internal fulfillments. I'm a very competitive person, but I'm competitive against myself
which is the most powerful,
which is the most healthy. To start saying, how can I be better than I was yesterday? And yoga fills so many of those drives and desires and needs. So we moved to Nashville, and my husband ended up joining Orange Theory, which is a combination running, rowing, and weight training. And then he wanted to do Tough Mudder. And I was like, I want to do that too. And so I joined Orange Theory, and I was never a runner. It's just not who I was. But again, that endorphin junkie, adrenaline junkie, and things were feeling really good until they weren't. I started having knee issues. And it all in yoga.
And is this probably in part because of the accident that you had? Okay.
So this is another life lesson that I want to share as well. So in yoga, I always balanced so well, so strong on my right side. And I didn't balance as well on my left side. And I broke everything on the left side of my body. And I always thought, that's just the way it was. I broke my pelvis, my sacrum sticks out, broke my pelvis in 3 spots. It wasn't set for a variety of health reasons when they were giving treatment. That's just the way it is. I can't control it. I practiced like 15 years that way. Here I have this knee issue, this knee pain, and I ended up going to a physiotherapist. And the physiotherapist was like, you're not firing, your brain is not sending messages to fire the bottom right of your quad, a left quad. You're not firing your left glute. Those muscles are not controlling your femur bone. And your femur bone is going into the knee joint, and it's torquing, and it's causing your knee pain. We need to isolate your strength building on those muscles and build up those muscles. So in yoga, a negative side of yoga is your body compensates. And my right side was compensating for my left side. And so my brain wasn't telling those muscles to fire. And without the left glute, it's hard to balance on the left leg. So I'm getting these exercises from my physiotherapist, and I'm going back to Orange Theory, and I'm using free weights, and I'm isolating, and I'm building muscle. And all of a sudden, my balance was getting better. Like, it was amazing.
Wow.
So something I thought I could change for 15 years.
Oh.
Find your teachers everywhere. So my teachers are not just yoga teachers. They're physiotherapists. They're deep tissue massage therapists. Talk to everyone. If you have an issue in your body, ask questions. Be curious. Work for answers. And it's not just doctors. There are so many different people that talk to trainers. I had a variety of different exercise movements with trainers. So anyways, we did Tough Mudder. It was amazing. We're at Orange Theory. My husband's like, we're now switching gyms to Lifetime. I'm like, no, you can't do that, because I was not all in, but I am all in. I've been all in for 2 years at Orange Theory. Like, wait, no. Gym that has kind of all encompassing everything. So here I was just doing Orange Theory, which is a fabulous class. And now I'm doing HIIT classes. I'm doing weightlifting classes, body pump, barbell, taking yoga. I'm trying cycling. I'm trying more things. And once again, my practice grew. And I'm getting stronger.
Yeah.
And I know you've had some CrossFit and some bodybuilders on. Walking onto the weight floor with no prior knowledge of how to use equipment on the weight floor is the most intimidating experience ever. And my husband, so in my yoga teaching, actually, let me step back. So I went through my yoga teacher training, and I actually started teaching.
And by this time?
So I started teaching in summer 2015.
Okay. So
I think before Orange Theory. I started teaching, and...
so you were 39 when you did that? Yeah.
Around there.
38, 39. And that was because you had tried all these things, and they were helping you gain strength, but your true love was yoga.
True love was, I love weight training now, too.
Okay.
So I started teaching, and I started out... I basically opened a studio in my basement. And I had girlfriends that... I was in a mom's group, and I had girlfriends come, and I taught a class, and it went great. And so I tried another, and it went great. And I didn't advertise. My classes were 100% grassroots, word of mouth. And
that's amazing.
I taught 3 classes every week for 4 years. For 1 year, and I had a girl down the street that was homeschooled, that she came over and she babysat. So I had an opportunity for women with young children, babies, that could come and make time for themselves and practice yoga.
Oh, that's perfect. While
their children were upstairs being babysat. It was serendipity in every which direction. And so I taught for 4 years, and 1 year, the women in my class, and I had a couple men in my class, were like, our husbands want yoga. And my working girlfriends were like, can you teach on the weekend? So 1 year I did a Saturday class, and so I had a men's only class, and then I had a co-ed class, because giving men their space, and my husband was my first guinea pig.
Oh, and how did that go?
He was a wrestler in high school. He's got tight hips, tight shoulders. He does not love vinyasa. He actually loves the Bikram style because it's not as hip and shoulder heavy. But he was a trooper, and he was all in. So for my target audience had little kids, and once we hit soccer season, it was more challenging to do the Saturday classes. But I had a year where I'm teaching my husband yoga, and it was pretty cool.
That is cool.
And then towards the end of those 4 years of our time in Nashville, my husband and I started lifting together on the weekends. So through all of his athlete experience, he could take me around the weight floor and show me different pieces of equipment and show me what to use. And it was very empowering. And so now, pulling from my knowledge of core power, throwing all kinds of stuff out, Orange Theory, pulling from my knowledge of barbell and weight training classes I've taken, pulling from my knowledge of what my husband has done, taking me around the weight floor, I go out on the weight floor by myself now, and it's pretty awesome. And like, muscles are sexy. Being strong is sexy.
It feels good.
It feels
so good. Yeah, and I love, like, when I can get, some muscles defined, I'm like, I like that. Yeah, it looks good. I feel sexy.
And the older we get, the more important it is.
It is.
I have osteoporosis in my family. Protecting your bones is done through weight bearing. So not all styles of yoga promote this, but the power yoga that I like to do, it's all weight bearing. It is fabulous for protecting, strengthening your body, flexibility wise, body awareness wise, as far as prevention of tripping, and building strength for your muscles, and protecting you health wise. Yoga is something you could do the rest of your life, just modifying as you need, and it's going to make you a stronger, more fit, healthier person for the rest of your life.
And what kind do you practice mostly? Like, what is it called?
So, in my search of new teachers, I've tried a variety of styles as well. And I also search out a variety of, like, I've done Christian faith-based yoga. I
didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, there's a new style of yoga that I've experienced here in Atlanta that hasn't made it to Nashville yet. It's called Universal Yoga. This is my dream come true. It is very much, it's based on the teaching of and I'm going to screw up things in my universal teacher, don't kill me. It's based on a teaching of a man from Nepal, and it's kind of the best of a variety of styles of yoga: vinyasa, ashtanga, yin, which is a slower holding the pose. It's with a strong focus on prana, on the breath. So a lot of these words I'm using, they're Sanskrit words, which is the underlying language that the names of the yoga poses come from.
Okay.
But this universal style of yoga takes bits of all of these styles and combines them together with a balance. So it's dynamic movement and static movement, and it's focusing on moving all of your joints in every direction. So you get a lot of rotation in your hips in most yoga classes, not as much movement of your shoulders in every direction. Universal focuses on that. So you just feel so balanced and well worked as you go through this class. And the teacher that I take from, he is so skilled at having one class that is so multi-leveled. So you could have somebody who's brand new who feels comfortable and confident and feel like they are achieving their goals of working as hard as they can at their level. And then you can have someone who can bind themselves into a pretzel and then lift themselves up, throw a leg behind the head. And that's me. And I feel and I feel so happy and satisfied as well. So try different styles of yoga. Try different teachers, because getting out of your box. Oh, my favorite thing as a teacher is people show up at classes, they always go to the exact same spot.
True.
They always go to the exact same spot, the exact same comfort zone. Tell people to move their mat to the other side of the room. They're going to give you the dirtiest look because they're going to hate you, but they're going to work a different side harder.
Interesting.
And it's all those changes of getting out of your box where you see the most growth.
So what is it like for you every day now? You said you practice like every day?
So my world revolves around my workout.
Okay, yeah. Tell us more about what does that look like? Give us a day in the life of Kim.
So we moved from Nashville back to Atlanta in October, and I'm not teaching now. We've got a lot of turmoil in our transient lifestyle. So my hope and goal is that I will be teaching, and actually in a studio this time versus in my basement, which would be a change, which would be really exciting.
Yeah, so it is. Every time one door closes or some big change happens in life, something good comes of it.
So I am in research stage. I am doing one studio at a time, one intro rate at a time. So most studios have an introductory rate that is very cost effective for maybe a week, maybe a month, where you could try it. It's unlimited access. So check out those. There's also Groupons. Okay. Check out Groupons for great deals for yoga studios. There's like no excuse not to try a new yoga studio.
Okay.
No excuse.
Okay.
But I've been starting at my home and radiating out, driving wise, trying new studios and making connections with teachers and asking questions and saying, this is a style. Who do you recommend? Where should I go next? It has been so much fun because you meet so many personalities. And I'm making friends around town, which is really exciting.
It is. It's important to have a local community.
It is so important to have a local community.
Have a network that you start to feel comfortable with and can rely on.
Yes, absolutely. So,
so you're practicing like every day, multiple hours. What is that like? Tell us.
It's fabulous.
What do you do?
Well, I'm also going to actually jump in and say I'm a huge fan of breaks too.
Okay.
Taking a break is wonderful. Your bodies need rest. So yes, you can practice every day. You can stack a weight training class with a yoga class. You can do all that, but be aware of what's going on with your body. When I overwork with my pelvis issues, I tend to get an issue where my psoas connects into the right femur, and I get pain there, and actually have that right now. So I didn't do anything yesterday.
Okay.
Like I took a break because my body told me it needed a break. And like going on vacation, Like, take your vacation and don't work out.
And don't work.
Don't work and don't work out.
Don't work out and don't work. Yeah.
Unless you don't get to work out a lot and then you're on vacation
Or
and that's an opportunity to work out. Then definitely work out.
Yeah, or if you're on a vacation for the workout.
But it's all a balance. It's a balance of listening to your body, what your body is ready to take on, and when your body needs a break. Like, it's all about being aware of what's going on in your body. But so my week right now, could do like weight training class that Monday morning, and then a yoga class.
Like for an hour?
These are all hour classes.
Okay.
Then an hour yoga class on Monday at noon. Tuesday is my universal class at 75 minutes. Wednesday, I don't have a favorite yoga class yet, so I jump around to different places. Thursday, I've got 2 fabulous yoga teachers that are at different studios. I wish one of them would switch to Friday or Monday. It's different every week. And what I've done is done my research and have a variety of places that I can go to that fulfill my need, because I want to volunteer in my kids' schools. My time for me is when my kids are at school, and that's when I have to get all my errands in. And when my kids come home, we are very heavily scheduled after school activities. Our house is kind of non-negotiable. You're doing stuff after school. You can pick what it is, but you got to do stuff. We are an all-in family. That's kind of how we work. And on the weekends, my husband and I work out Saturday and Sunday. So our kids go to childcare. Yeah. It's kind of like tough. Our kids are a little bit older. They have stages where they hated it as well, but it's kind of like non-negotiable. It's what we're doing. It's what our family does. We're setting the example for our kids that fitness and moving your body is important.
It is. It is. And I think as the older that I think America tends to kind of, and I say this generally speaking, but a lot of the older, it's easy to sort of get into a sedentary lifestyle and then sort of rely on medications for long periods of time unnecessarily. And that's just because, it's easy to get out of fitness, out of, what's the word I'm looking for? Out of shape, and to not treat your body well or eat well or give your body what it needs. And I think, the ultimate goal is to be healthy throughout life, to do the best that you can in treating your body well and your mind and your spirit, and giving it the nutrients and the movement that it needs and the joy.
Absolutely. With my broken pelvis, if I was not doing yoga, I would have tremendous back pain. I know. I stretch before practicing yoga, which I think the older you get, the more important that even is, to always stretch before exercise and then stretch after exercise. So before I take a yoga class, I warm up my hamstrings, I warm up my lower back, and it makes my practice more effective. So another benefit of practicing yoga, focusing on the breath, turning that mental internal and becoming more in touch with your emotions and perhaps having more conversations internal with yourself, is that your body wants to eat more healthy. Your body craves cleaner food.
Yes, I find that.
Craves healthier food. You learn, and you're also commingling with people with similar mindsets, people that want to do the same thing. It's all these positive reinforcements and positive interactions to a healthier, happier, better you.
I completely agree with that.
But it's not pressure. It's not negative. It's appreciating your body for what it does.
And it's releasing the things that you don't want to keep trapped.
Letting stuff go is huge.
That's, beautifully said.
I'm the yoga teacher that swears, and I'm trying so hard not to swear. But letting stuff go is huge. And that's another lesson you learn on the mat, that some days your body might not be in the mood for a crazy hard practice. And that's okay, because another day maybe it is. Or maybe one pose, like there's a pose called a pistol squat. I can get down in it. I can't stand up. That's okay. I don't have to beat myself up over that. I mean, some things are what they are, and there are things you can work on and change. But wow, I can also shift gears and work on something else that's awesome. Like learning. I also think the 40s are fabulous. The 40s are all about letting stuff go.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
Oh, life only gets
Because
better.
I'm 35 and I don't, I mean, it really hasn't occurred to me that I'll be 40 soon, but I will be.
Life only gets better. Life doesn't.
Am I 35? No, I'm 36.
At that age where you can't keep track and you don't remember.
It's like I'm in my 30s somewhere and they're great.
Which is magical too. I think the 40s are amazing. Life doesn't get easier. You just learn how to manage yourself better. You learn to let stuff go. You learn to prioritize yourself. You learn to toxicity is not beneficial. Like which friendships are helpful, which ones are not. For me, yoga has taught me to have conversations to myself, to listen to myself, to forgive myself, it's been so empowering. And so for me, like I don't traditionally meditate. My meditations, like I got kids, life is crazy, life is busy. My meditations tend to be sitting in my car before and after a yoga class. Because it's when I'm taking that time to pause. Another thing I haven't touched on is music. My favorite yoga class, it starts slow. It gets like strip club fast in the middle and it ends slow. And to me, and that's the music I bring when I teach classes. I want people in my class to I want you to dance during my yoga class. Like I want you to feel so
I love dancing,
present.
So I would be all in.
I want you to feel so present in the moment that you are willing to try, that you trust the movement in your body, that you want to explore and experience, that you're going to try a pose that maybe you wouldn't have tried otherwise. And it's fun. Like yoga should be fun.
Oh, I like that.
Because
I've never heard that before.
Oh my God. Yoga should be so fun. You should.
I love that. I need fun. I like fun. And when I think about, maybe I'll take a dance class at night, or maybe I'm interested in I want to do something fun. And so I love that you said that.
I think yoga should be fun. I have a teacher that would say it's just yoga. I mean, it is. It's just yoga. Like, just try not to be late. Don't leave during Savasana. Savasana is the most important part of your practice. Going back to what are your goals in yoga? Why are you there?
What is explain to people what Savasana is.
Fabulous question. So, and it is not in every practice, and it's not in every style of yoga. But in Vinyasa, which is the most predominantly taught style of yoga here in the United States, a Vinyasa class starts slow and to warm up the body to get whatever pose you're building up towards. It starts slow to start moving the body, opening up the muscles, opening up the joints. And then once you're through your warm-up phase, you're going to move to a more dynamic movement phase, which is in theory going to culminate in some more challenging poses. And then you start to unwind and slow things down. And you're going to end in a pose called Savasana, which is the Sanskrit name, also known as the corpse pose. And it's basically where you're lying on your back and your feet are hip distance, but they just flop out to the side because you're relaxing every muscle in your body. And in Savasana, you have done all the work you need, all the investments you're making in your practice and your body. And Savasana is your gift back to yourself, your thank you to your body for all the work that it did for you in class. And your palms can be up in a receiving gesture. They can be down in a grounding gesture. But it is your time to let all the hard work that you did during your practice soak in. And it can be hard. It could be hard to, of anything, still your mind.
I have two last questions.
Yes.
So, first, what I feel like I've met people who are, I'm going to say it, like yoga snobs, where they're like, oh, that's not yoga because XYZ. Oh, that's not yoga because of this. Do you meet people like that? Do you find that the yoga community is pretty open? Or do you find certain communities more open than others? Do you find some that are just very traditionalist and are completely unopen to new things? Like, what do you find in the people that you meet in yoga?
Wonderful question. So if that does not speak to you, find a different teacher. You own your practice. You own yourself.
So yoga, it really is bringing what the teacher loves about body movement and meditation and mixing it with traditional practices and making it their own.
Yes. Well, it depends on the style. So a Bikram style, the teacher is going to teach those sequence of poses. Ashtanga is another style of yoga that is very sequentially defined. And so if you're doing an Ashtanga primary series, it's always going to be the same sequence of poses. You might have a teacher that does an Ashtanga fusion where they'll kind of mix and match things a little bit. Vinyasa, it's a little more anything goes. There's yin, which is a style of yoga where you're going to hold a pose for 3 to 5 minutes. And it's all about releasing the fascia. So you've got your muscles that are doing all this amazing work. And then surrounding all the muscles in your body below the skin is a layer of webbing that's called fascia. And it kind of holds all the muscles together. And it gets tight too. And it needs to be released too. And it doesn't release in 15 seconds. So if you have like really tight hamstrings, for example, yin could be a fabulous way to get into the fascia and release the fascia and help release tension and stress there. So many different styles of yoga. Different styles attract different personalities of teachers. And Ashtanga and Bikram attract teachers that are often more rigid because it's very structured. And styles of yoga that are more flowy, creative might attract a teacher that is more fluid and flexible.
So somebody shouldn't worry about whether something is like the right kind of yoga or the wrong kind of yoga, or that it's, or be critical of different types of yoga. Just find the thing that you like and then do that.
And each body is not identical. We each have different bodies with different injuries, different histories,
different needs.
Every pose does not look the same in every body. And that's more than okay.
Yeah, it's great.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
So if you are taking a class that you feel like you're being criticized because it's not the way it's supposed to look, try a different class. This teacher is not your person.
I love that. Yeah.
Try a different teacher. Find someone who is your person. This is my opinion. This is all what I think. And in my mind, yoga, it should be approachable. It should be empowering. It should be uplifting. And if you're not getting that, try another teacher. So again, I joined Instagram over a year ago, and I've
tell them what your handle is.
My handle is leapoffaith.yoga. So
perfect.
Joining Instagram was a leap of faith. It was something that my husband and I were going through in our life with his job. He took a leap of faith in that point in time, and I stole the name first. But and that's how I practice and teach without taking that leap. With the confidence that something's going to catch you, you'll never know. And so on Instagram, yoga is this common language of people around the world that brings us together with different political backgrounds, different actual true language backgrounds, with different socioeconomic, so many differences. I have made these amazing connections globally, all through the common understanding of yoga. And again, I found so many teachers. I have seen, before I was limited by who I could drive to, through Instagram, I have seen so many new pose ideas and traded and shared and collaborated. It's so there are people around the globe, yogis, that do not have access to classes. So they are teaching themselves how to do yoga on Instagram. The yoga community on Instagram was by far the most amazing surprise. Here I am joining to try to get sponsors to make money, and I think my husband totally regrets his push, because now I've got I call them pen pals. I've got all these friendships around the globe. That's how I feel too. Yeah. That so there are these yoga challenges on Instagram.
Okay.
That took me a couple weeks.
I have noticed you've been doing some of those. Yeah.
Took a couple weeks to figure these out. It is 100% grassroots. There is no governing structure of a yoga challenge. It is a couple of yogis that got together, decided to host. They are talking with vendors that want marketing, that's really what they're in for, that agree to sponsor these challenges. Each vendor provides a prize. The hosts come up with a theme. Right now I'm co-hosting a challenge where it's to spring into spring, and it's all animals and birds and spring themes. I just finished hosting a challenge where it was about infertility. And we created a safe space online for people in cultures that don't talk about infertility to share their stories. Like, it was the most gut-wrenching, empowering, amazing challenge I've ever been a part of. But so again, these challenges, the hosts come up with a series of poses. The challenge might last anywhere from 5, 7, 10 days. And anyone can enter. Anyone can enter. You can jump in, jump out. The only way to win a prize is you have to follow the rules of posting each day, following the guidelines of the poses. And it's your interpretation. Do your modifications. Use props. Use the wall. It's all about, vulnerability is showing of strength. It's all about sharing who you are and then lifting other people up, because they're going to turn around and they're going to lift you up.
Yeah, I love that.
It's been so amazing.
That is so cool. Okay, last question. But before I do, for those listening, if you want to check out our YouTube, I will post the name of the YouTube on the at the end of this episode. But she's going to do some poses on the video in a second. And but the last question I wanted to ask you, if there is anything you wanted this audience to take away today, what's one last thing that you would like to say? I mean, we've had lots of amazing conversation and so many good little nuggets along the way. Is there one last thing you kind of want to end with?
I would challenge everyone to prioritize their needs, to try something new, to give themselves permission to say, this situation doesn't serve me, I'm choosing another situation, or this situation is amazing, I'm going to go in deeper. Own your life. Own your experience. You're worth it. You're capable of it. It's all there for you.
That was Kim Gordon on Feminine Will. If you loved that episode, you will love the next one and all the ones before that. Please check out our episodes that come out every Monday on Feminine Will. Follow Feminine Will on Facebook and Instagram at Feminine Will. Please subscribe to our podcast wherever you listen and write us a review if you enjoyed it. Every little bit helps us grow our community and inspire more women. A quick word from the sponsor, Sweatseat. Sweatseat is a vehicle seat cover designed and engineered for the athlete and adventurer. So if you like to work out, maybe you have a dog, maybe you have a kid, and you want to protect your vehicle seats, Sweatseat is for you. It's also super compact, so it fits right in your car door or under your seat when you're not using it, and you can throw it in the washing machine with all your workout clothes or your activewear, and it fits right in. Please visit sweatseat.com, SWETSEAT.com, and check it out. Plus, I invented it. After carrying a bulky towel in my car for so many years, I was tired of it and finally decided to make a solution. When I didn't find what was on the market, I decided to make something. And Sweatseat is what came of it, and I am so proud of it. It's the only seat cover I like. I tried a few, saw some, and they were always missing something. They were either too bulky, or they weren't waterproof, or they didn't have a headrest, or they left marks on the seat. And I just wanted something simple that looked and felt like my activewear, so I made Sweatseat. It's a patent-pending product, and I only sell it online. And I wanted to build a community around women who are athletic and adventurous, since I had been meeting so many of them through Sweatseat. The stories that I get from women about what they've used it for have been awesome. So I think I'll include that on the next show. I hope you have an incredible day, and I'll see you on the next episode.